dirty. Angela dumped some more sanitizer into her hand and smeared it around, letting the goop run into the creases along her palm. She gently placed the bottle back into her jacket pocket, careful not to touch the germs that she knew lived on the clothes she was wearing. In fact, she tried not to touch anything for that matter, for she knew that the evil little disease germs were everywhere, on her locker, in her food, on her dog, on the light bulbs, anywhere. It was like a disaster waiting to happen if she didn't spray everything. And when you spray everything, it might as well look neat and tidy. So everything was. She took her hand out of her pocket and slipped one of her plastic gloves onto her hand. She slowly took the handle of the taxi and scooted out of the filthy, dirty yellow car, taking one last glance at the little note on the seat saying proudly, "Just finished, don't die," which she quickly and cleanly stuffed into her pocket, and she pulled herself out into the fresh air, which wasn't much cleaner. She turned around just in time to see the cab driver throw her a puzzled glance before zooming off down the road, all the way back to the city. She turned around again to find herself staring at a cornfield. The stalks stretched as high as they could go, towering over Angela, the corn drooping at the top. The cream-looking strings dangled out of the corn, which threatened to topple. She took a deep breath and plunged blindly into the mess of corn, only to get smacked in the face by a low corn stalk blown by the wind. As a response, Angela glared at the stalk, then reached into her pocket and brought out a spray bottle. She didn't know what the liquid inside would do to plants, but she did know that the contents of this bottle were very sanitary. She swiped on another glove and began to spray her way through the plants. With one hand she pushed aside a stalk, and the other sprayed it, over and over again. She thought it was a pity to be wasting such clean, lovely liquid on these dirty plants, but she knew these needed the best, and she was giving it to them. She knew all she had to do was get across this disgusting field, and she would be rewarded with her dream. Nothing could stop Angela. Nothing, except a spider. "Eek!" she screamed, dropping the bottle as a small spider leapt across the cornstalk onto her hand. "Get it off!" She spun around, cradling her hand as though it was broken, and darted off in a random direction. She pushed through the stalks, one hand covering her perfect neat ponytail, and one hand flailing off to the side of her. The stalks snapped behind her as she pushed them out of her way. She kept screaming and running as fast as she could, without tripping over the stalks. At last it was no use, and she tumbled to the ground, her foot caught on a stalk, only to jump right up, brushing the dirt off of her as quick as she could. As soon as she was done trying to wipe the smeared mud on off of her jeans and jacket, her hands flew to her hair as she tried to save it from the awful dirt and corn threads that covered it. As soon as her arms grew tired of trying to fix her hair, she snatched the hand sanitizer from her pocket, only to see she was out. "What?" she muttered under her breath, gaping at the empty jar in her filthy hand. Never in her life had she run out of hand sanitizer. Never in her life had she been so dirty. She reached into her pocket, trying to find some sort of sanitary device. Napkin? No. Dried up wet wipe? No. An empty pack of tissues? No. Oh, forget it. She threw the things from her jacket onto the ground, searching them. "Hey, who's there? What happened to my stalks?" A loud, deep yell pierced through the air. Time to go. Angela glanced quickly at the pile, debating about littering, picked up the note from the cab, and dashed away from the voice. She burst through the stalks and stepped right in front of an enormous building. This was it, her dream. She heard the yell again and slipped inside as quickly and quietly as she could.